Hello, everybody. We are just going to give it a quick minute for everybody to join, but go ahead and feel free. If you are in the chat, you can go ahead and let us know, where you're signing in from. And if you want to share even more, we'd love to hear what your standout moment or achievement has been this year. I know myself, I'm in Chicago. John, you're in Chicago as well?
I am. Yep. Starting to get cold.
All of a sudden it's December. I feel like it was Halloween, and then now here we are, end of the year review here.
That's right. Christmas shopping time.
Yep. All right, people are trickling in. We're just gonna, again, give it another minute. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So we've got a lot to get through. People can join as they trickle in here, but welcome everybody. And this is our last product roundup webinar of 2023. I can't believe it. We're here for a year in review. Thanks again for joining us. And we do have a jam-packed webinar, so I'm excited to highlight the best of the best. All right, let's see if this works. Everybody, I am Kim Nauer. I am the product marketing lead here at Hireology. With me today, I do have our Chief Product and Technology Officer, John Assermley. You'll be hearing from both of us throughout the presentation today. And just a few housekeeping notes. First and foremost, we are recording this session, and we will be sending a copy of the recording as well as the slides via email after. Because of that, we do have everybody muted just to reduce that risk of background noise, but we do want to hear from you in the chat. So I will be monitoring the chat or the Q&A for any questions. I'll answer them throughout the presentation, but also we'll save some time at the end to touch on anything. All right, so if you are a customer of ours or have joined a webinar in the past, you may recall here at Hireology, we really focus our product development efforts around these three principles: speed, quality, and intelligence. So as you know, in today's fast-paced landscape, it is really essential to move fast and quickly when it comes to hiring. The demand for candidates is really, really high, and they're not going to wait around. So that's why we really place a significant emphasis on speed, not only in the technology that we introduce, but also in the processes that we recommend. We all know that speed alone is not enough. You also need to hire the right people for your organization. And we really are committed to leveraging all the data and intelligence that we have to provide those valuable insights into your hiring process. So really, in essence, every product that we develop really aligns closely with these guiding principles. So let's go ahead and explore that today. We're going to talk a little bit about the market conditions, and then I'm going to pass it over to John, who's going to do a quick look back on the features we launched earlier this year. And then we're going to dive into some of the recently released features and a sneak peek for 2024. I still can't believe it's already 2024. And again, of course, we'll answer questions. So before we dive in, I just really want to touch on some of the market conditions that we're seeing, both from like an economic growth perspective, but also a job seeker standpoint. And really, because these numbers, understanding these numbers is really key to what we're doing here at Hireology and why our 2023 updates are so valuable. All right, so let's start with overall jobs added to the economy. So really, despite the job growth slowing from 2022 to 2023, there was still a total of 2.4 million jobs added to the economy this year. And that's only until October data. So it'll obviously grow when we get November's numbers here in the next week, as well as, we'll see what happens in December. But really, continuous strong job growth coupled with the continued labor shortages in key industries like healthcare or hospitality is really a driving factor in what we do here. And really digging in further to 2023, job gains by sector, you'll see here at the bottom a lot of the key verticals that we specialize in here at Hireology. So private, the health services, hospitality, professional services. And really what we're seeing is those industries really leading the way of growth this year. So for hiring skilled labor, think CNAs or auto technicians, really continuing to add jobs month over month, despite the number of job seekers remaining flat. Again, this really leads to competition, which is where we come into play. And really just to visualize the number of job seekers per job opening, you can see here at the beginning of the year, we started out really close to about 2 to 1. We saw the gap kind of dwindle throughout the year, and then it's remained pretty steady. And like I said, this ratio is even more stark when you start drilling down to verticals such as healthcare, retail, automotive, and hospitality, where businesses really continue to pour jobs into the economy despite a relative flat numbers of job seekers. So I also want to switch gears and really touch on the applicant perspective here. So each year we survey applicants from our key verticals to really understand their expectations as it comes to their job search. And this year we found that by and large, job seekers have really high expectations for speed and transparency. And when we asked about expectations for interview timelines, for example, a notable 31% of job seekers anticipate an interview happening within just 48 hours of submitting their application. And what's even more significant is that 55% expect it to happen within 72 hours. So not only are they expecting interviews to be quick turnaround, they're also really quick to make decisions. So this next one, with 61% of job seekers accepted the first job they received in their most recent job search. So this really underscores the importance of swift decision-making in today's competitive job market. You want to be able to be that first one to offer the job. Beyond that, there's really challenges with not meeting these expectations. So 44% ghosted employers, and that was due to perceived lack of transparency and communication. So there's a need for agile and transparent communication throughout the hiring process. We also found that Indeed and employer referrals were a really great opportunity to stand out and capture job seekers this year. So an impressive 70% of job seekers utilize Indeed at some point in their job search. That's really incredible. And John's going to really dive into our partnership with Indeed here in a bit. But beyond just job boards, employee referrals really remains an important sourcing strategy, with about 67% expressing openness to returning to an organization that they worked for in the past. And really even more compelling is 84% are open to joining organizations that they applied for in the past and maybe they weren't hired. So really nurturing and engaging these audiences is really critical to maximizing your recruitment efforts. And we'll talk more about that in a bit as well. So as we think about that hiring landscape, it's really essential to evolve the needs of job seekers and the industry trends. So we're going to shift our focus, and I am really happy to introduce John, who's going to guide us through all the exciting features that we've launched this year. John, over to you.
Awesome. Thanks, Kim. All right. It is really nice to get this opportunity to do a year in review with you all, looking back at some of the features that we've delivered, the value that it brings, and you may find some things along the way that you haven't leveraged yet that could really improve your hiring process. So I'm excited about that. We're also going to do a little bit of a sneak preview into what's coming next year. All right, let's start with looking back at 2023. Kim talked a little bit about speed, quality, and intelligence. And it's something we focus on all the time. And I think that when you look at the features that we deliver, we're working towards those goals all the time for everyone. And it started with, in Q1, inbox enhancements, really bringing your communications and centralizing them in one location to give that quicker response time to your applicants. As Kim mentioned, these applicants expect this process to be very collaborative, and they want to get responses right away. Moving on to UKG Pro integration. Once you've got those applicants and you're ready to move forward, we want to make the process from them being an applicant to being onboarded as seamless as possible, and UKG Pro integrations help with that. Next, Indeed XML feed. We're going to talk a ton about Indeed. We did a lot of work Indeed is the #1 job board provider, and our integration with them has come so far. So we're going to talk about that. We'll talk a little bit about our referral campaign manager that we built, helping you get more referrals and making it just easier out of the box to leverage. In Q2, we did some automated candidate communications if you're not leveraging them. So someone applies, do we respond to them right away, right? Those kinds of things really increase and improve that candidate experience and reduce your time to hire. Some more Indeed work as far as syncing some of the information to make sure that what you're getting from Indeed gets better and better and better over time. In Q3, we did some more automated enhancements around automated outreach. When someone applies, they don't have all the information. We're going to go ahead and get the rest of that information automatically, lightening your load while getting you more quality applicants. And we also were the first ATS to do some generative AI work around job descriptions. So if you're still manually creating job descriptions, got a great functionality for you to leverage and get them done really easily. Continuing some more Indeed work. And then in Q4, it was about security, MFA, SSO, which we'll talk about. As a technology guy, I geek out about this stuff because I know it improves the safety and security of the platform that you all use and protects your applicants. And so we'll talk about that. Some better support, and we're working on some really fun campaign stuff. Okay, let's talk about inbox enhancements and what that means for your communication with your candidates. All right, so the inbox enhancements, really the key is we want to bring all your communications with your applicants onto a single platform, right? If you've got hiring managers and they're using their email, their text messages, it's really easy for those communications to be inconsistent, for there to be errors, and for things to fall through the cracks. With inbox enhancements, we bring it all onto a single platform, making it easier and for you to make sure that your recruiters are consistent and timely in their responses to the candidates. It's going to really reduce your time to hire as well. What's nice about it is when your recruiters are on platform, the notifications are there. And so it's really easy and obvious that you have a message that you need to respond to, and you can do it right on platform really quickly. And so shortening that time to response from recruiter to applicant. And we saw the results from this. So, the average days to reply dropped when using inbox from 13 to 5. And we're seeing utilization rate increase by about 25%. So some really great numbers from the inbox enhancements. We made it contextual. They see it, and it's easy to do. Okay, let's talk about the Indeed partnership. Put a ton of work in here. Indeed is the top job board provider. And some of the things that we did this year. So first of all, we are a gold partner now with Indeed, and only 4% of all ATSs have achieved gold level membership with Indeed. So what are some of the things that we did to make this a better situation? First, we improved the delivery of your jobs to the Indeed boards. So whether it was hours or even days where they would be scraping the site, we're now sending that information immediately, which means once you create the job on Hireology, it's getting over to the Indeed boards. Next, we did some disposition syncing. So what is this all about? We're taking all the different phases and steps along your process and communicating those steps back to Indeed. They're then using that information to get you more and higher quality candidates in the future, so they can learn in ways that they couldn't before with this disposition syncing. And lastly is going to be Indeed sponsorship, where you can sponsor right on platform. And we're going to talk about that more in the coming slides. Okay, 55%. Sponsored jobs deliver 55% more applicants than non-sponsored jobs. So if you're not leveraging it, if you're not leveraging on platform, a real opportunity to improve the number of applicants that you're getting. And the time to hire. So when using Indeed sponsored jobs, customers improve their time to hire by 12 days, which is quite a bit. Okay, so what does Indeed sponsorship bring for us? When you sponsor with Indeed, you get increased job visibility. Your jobs are going to be seen over other jobs and hence give you more applicants quicker. The quality of the applicants are going to be better. The vetting processes, all the things that Indeed does is going to deliver you higher quality applicants through sponsorship. And what's really nice is now that Hireology has this on platform, it's one less system that you have to deal with. From Hireology's ATS, you're now interacting with the #1 job board in the market, and it's simple and easy for you to do. And not only that, it's very predictive, not perfect, but their algorithms give you very nice insight into the likelihood of you getting applicants, the rate of applicants that you're going to get. So really great visibility with Indeed sponsorship. How it works. Okay, so there are two primary ways it works. If you already have the job, you can click into the job and go to your sponsorships, and you'll see it there, and you can click and activate very easily. It's the top listed job board in our list of job boards. The second way is that if you're creating a new job as a part of the flow, you'll see it and be able to create. Now, as a part of that creation process, you'll be able to select dates, times, and spend that you want to allocate towards your Indeed sponsorship. Select your campaign schedule, your budget, and you'll be able to see your performance. And it's going to give you estimates. Well, again, not exact. It's going to give you good estimates for the number of applicants you can expect to receive by the number of days and the amount that you spend. Once you've done all that, you just confirm, place your order, and you're good to go. Okay, let's get into automation. All right, automation enhancements. What did we do last year? Okay, the first thing we did was automated outreach. What does automated outreach mean? A lot of times you will have applicants that are applying, but they don't provide all the information. Certain job boards, referrals, a lot of times they get into your system and they're incomplete. And without human intervention to go get and ask that applicant for the missing information, those applicants often become dormant. Our automated outreach automatically goes out, reaches out to that candidate and makes sure that we have all the information necessary. Automated candidate communications. When an applicant applies, they expect to hear back from you very quickly, which is a very laborious task. We've made it simple. Set up the automation, and as soon as someone applies, they'll hear from you that you've received their application and you're going to be reviewing it. And lastly, we have job descriptions. So job descriptions is our AI-enabled job description writer. Gone are the days where you have to sit down, think about, and write that job description. Writing a job description oftentimes can lead to longer times to even open the position. If you have recruiters, sometimes they don't have time to write that job description. And so what happens is they don't open that job description right away. They wait, which isn't ideal. With our new generative AI job description writer, they can get those jobs opened with great job descriptions. You can tweak them after they've been written, and it makes your life really simple. Okay, automated outreach missing information. What are some of the results that we've seen from this? 31% of applicants with missing information have updated their application, right? So those folks who have applied don't have information. We make an automated outreach. About 31% are going to update that information and be great applicants for you. 63% of those applicants have been quality applicants. So not only is there a good percentage of them, those that do apply or do fill out the remaining information, you know they're interested and you know that they're quality applicants. 4% more quality candidates than customers who do not use our automated communications. So those things like automated outreach get you more quality applicants. And the time to hire goes down from 25 days to 21. So things like automated responses are improving not just the candidate experience, but your time to hire. Okay, automations, how does it work? Setting up the automations is super quick. All you have to do is go to your settings and click the automation tab. You'll see the option to toggle on the various options. You're able to select if you want the message to be sent via text, email, or both. If you select text and the candidate did not opt into the text messaging, they may not get the message. So we recommend selecting both to ensure delivery. From here, you can click view or edit the template. If you need help or want to learn more, we have an in-app tour and product overview to help guide you through. And if you want to give us feedback on the automations, we'd love to get your feedback, and make sure to submit your feedback there as well. As I mentioned, you can also use AI to write your job descriptions. Customers who leverage Speaker generate their job description open times about 1.3 times faster, but it's even really faster than that. As I mentioned, there's going to be times your recruiters are not going to have that time. Maybe they only got 5 minutes and they get a little stumbled. With the generative job description writer, you're going to get those jobs opened and hence filled more quickly. Okay, and writing a job description couldn't be easier. There's a button on the screen, you click it, and it's going to pull in all the information. It's going to include job summary, responsibilities, requirements, compensation, benefits, and EEOC statements. And your recruiters, it's not like you press it, it's done, it moves on. You press that button, it's going to generate for you, and then your recruiters have an opportunity to tweak. And they should always make sure they read and things are written the way that they want them to be, but super simple. All right, switching gears to security. Let's jump in. Okay, we've done a lot here. As I said, I'm a technology guy. I like to geek out about this stuff. The highlight summary here is you're going to be more secure and your applicants are going to be more secure. Whether we realize it or not, ATSs are a place that folks go after as an attack vector. So when we think about an ATS, if someone gets a hold of your ATS, they have access to your applicants, and your applicants can be very vulnerable at a time that's really important to them. They're trying to get a new job, their new hiring manager is asking for something, and they're quick to comply, and it's not great. We did a ton of work around security, and we're really proud, and we're going to go into some of the details, but whether that's locking down passwords, some of the data encryption stuff that we did, some of the stuff is internal, but penetration testing and vulnerability assessments we're constantly doing, internal procedures like how we lock down, who has access to what, who can see which data, and then if anything ever does happen, we have run books, play guides, the right people to get involved to resolve. So we're always planning, always on the defense of your company and your applicants. Okay, and we're going to talk a little bit about multi-factor authentication, which we did a lot of work towards. It's estimated that roughly 99.5% of all attacks against the system are prevented by having two-factor authentication, which is something that we delivered just a couple of months ago. I'm going to jump into that a little bit. So let's talk about multi-factor authentication. Okay, we've made it super simple. You can manage your MFA settings directly in your Hireology account. What we're using for MFA, multi-factor authentication, it's always a balance between the amount of effort you make your people go through to increase security, right? The bigger the password, the more they change it, the safer they are. What we've done with multi-factor authentication, and in particular, adaptive MFA, which is just a fancy way of saying, we're only going to challenge your logins when we notice something fishy. So we are monitoring, literally the technology we use is monitoring millions of sites. We know which sites are blacklisted when they're trying to log into your system. And we also know things like if you are logging in from an unfamiliar place or an unfamiliar computer. So what does that do? What does that mean for you and for your recruiters? It means they're not going to be challenged with two-factor authentication all the time. In fact, they're going to be challenged very rarely. I'm at the office, I'm logging in. Hireology is going to know that I'm logging in from the same place, the same time of day, on the same sort of machine, right? And maybe I log in from a few places. And we're going to assess each of those and only give that second challenge when necessary. So we've really struck a great balance to make logging in super easy while also making it super secure. You can also choose between two methods, either an SMS, which is basically text messaging as a second factor, or using an authenticator. Okay, let me make sure I'll walk you through how it works. Okay, setting up an MFA is really, really easy. All you have to do is select if you'd like to get your verification code via app or text message from the login screen. Then you'll verify your method, enter your code, and be all set. If you've already logged in and skipped that, you can also enroll by going to your profile and clicking on the My Info. There you'll be able to see the status of your MFA enrollment and start the process. We also have social single sign-on. So not only have we made it more secure with the multi-factor authentication and making it simple when you do set up MFA that you only get challenged on the rare occasions, we've also set up social single sign-on. So what does this mean? It means you can use your social providers. If you're logging in with Google, Microsoft, Apple, it becomes really, really easy, and people don't have one less password to remember, which just makes life really great for them. How it works. To log in with social, select either Google, Apple, or Microsoft. You'll be asked to enter your email address to send a one-time verification code. Once you enter the code, you'll be able to seamlessly log in with SSO going forward. If you want to check if you are enrolled, go to My Info screen and see the single sign-on. If you aren't, you'll be prompted to log out, where you can connect your account. We also have company level single sign-on. So if your company has an Okta provider or a single sign-on provider that you use to log into many of your different applications, saving your employees from having to have multiple passwords, you can set that up now on Hireology. You just have to reach out to your CSM or our support team, and we'll help you set it up. Again, increasing your security. What's really great about these sorts of measures is if someone leaves your company and you remove them from your single sign-on provider, any applications that they have access to are automatically removed. It just makes your IT professionals really, really happy and makes their lives really nice and easy, as well as your users, because they've got that one less password to remember. Okay, let's talk about, we're going to go on a little bit of a support. So Hireology is known for its award-winning support. And we've done some things to go beyond just our support team and make it more digital. We are currently rated #1 based on user satisfaction. Hireology provides a robust model to onboard new customers, drive best practices. So it's more than just, simple support and getting it set up. It's making sure you're set up with the best practices for your industry. And our customer success folks know your various industries really well. For essential customers, you'll have the opportunity to access Premier implementation and or CSM support on your qualifying spend. And we are committed to setting you up for success. And just, our support model is really all about making sure whatever plan you're on, you have a great experience with Hireology. And what we recently released was our new resource center. And you'll find it in the lower left-hand corner of the screen when you log in, and everything's there now. So you get access to all your support and help documentation, recent product tours and guides, on-demand access to knowledge base, and our support chat, release notes, upgrade information. We've just really streamlined it into one place, so you always know where to find things to make sure you don't get stuck using Hireology. Okay. With that, and I know I covered a lot of ground, things I want to make sure, if you're not using the automations, if you're not using some of the Indeed spots, I want to make sure that you are leveraging those tools. They're going to make a real difference in your hiring process, getting you higher quality applicants, making their experience better, and just make your company a better hiring company.
Just really quick, I just want to remind everybody, if you do have questions, feel free to throw them in the chat and we can address them. But John, you can keep going. We don't have questions yet.
All right. I feel like I'm cranking along. Okay. So we want to talk a little bit about 2024 and give you all a sneak peek into what is to come. 2023 was great. We delivered a ton of functionality. I'm going to say this, I'm even more excited about what's coming in 2024. I'm going to give a little bit of a backstage pass here into some of the things. Now, with the caveats that roadmaps change, features are not, things happen, right? And we may change course at different times, but as of now, this is where we're expected to go, and it's really exciting. Okay. So obviously we just talked about some of the things in the now category: Indeed sponsorship, automated enhancements, the resource center, MFA and SSO, campaign templates and auto list beta, and then interview enhancements. So we just delivered a ton. And now as we roll into Q1, we've got some really great functionality coming. The first is automated candidate interview reminders. So I don't know how many of you get ghosted by candidates. I'm guessing a lot of you. And it's all about, so you've got an interview coming up. Someone ghosts you. They don't show up for that interview. It's incumbent on your recruiters today to send out reminders or just hope they show up. With our automated candidate reminders, we're gonna really make that better. Campaigns integrated into core ATS. We'll show a little bit of that as we move forward. One-step job approvals. And we're also going to be launching a dual platform mobile. So we today are on the iOS. We're going to be supporting Android as well. On the later category, you see things like multi-step job approvals, improving search, making candidate rediscovery that much better, and a centralized dashboard, which we'll take a sneak peek at. Campaigns and audience lists. Okay, this is all about nurturing and keeping your applicants, the applicants in your database, keeping them engaged and making them potentially future hires for your organization. What we found from our data is roughly 67% of applicants would consider coming back to a previous company. That's some really great candidates for you to think about for your new hires. And actually, by vertical, it can even be greater than that, right? So in healthcare, we see 77%, and hospitality, 70%. So there's some really great opportunities for folks who have left your company that would want to come back later. How do you engage with them? And 84% of applicants would be open to working in an organization they applied to in the past but weren't hired. So you want to think about your gold level applicant, right? Or the silver medalist, rather. That person that you hired, this other person because maybe they got there first, but you had some other applicants that you thought were a good potential to be hired again. 84% of those folks, even though they didn't get the job, still said they'd love to work at that company. It just didn't work out. And again, we see different numbers in the different verticals: 88% of folks in healthcare, 82% in hospitality, and 79% in auto. Okay, let's talk about campaigning. So obviously, all of you get many of your applicants through from job boards, career sites, career fairs, referrals, and more. And let's say you get 10 applicants, but you're only going to hire one of those applicants. What happens to the other 9? Are they valuable to you in your company? Can you re-engage with them? Can you continually communicate with them and nurture that relationship such that the next time you have an opening, whether it's for a service technician, certified nurse assistant, whatever it might be, these folks have applied and that data is valuable. And with campaigning, we want to allow you to nurture those relationships so that when you have that next job opening, you may already have some candidates that would be a great fit. An audience list. Audience list building is really a complement to campaigns. You're going to be able to build and store different various audiences that you can later go to when trying to fill jobs. You'll be able to filter on application status, star rating, job skills, location. You'll be able to do things like re-engage with alumni, maybe folks who used to work for you, you want to re-engage with them and let them know about internal mobility or reconnect with past candidates. Like the various things you're going to be able to do with the audience list builder in combination with campaigning is going to allow you to inform various groups of your applicants in various ways and make sure that you nurture that relationship in a way in which you can rehire some of those folks. Okay. And it's going to be built right into the platform. So some of this functionality is just going to be super simple for you to use, the ability to use predefined campaigns that we're going to help you with. And then you're going to be able to just either send them as a one-time or as on a recurring cadence. And basically just keep in contact with folks. Applicants love to know that you care about them, as silly as that might sound. If someone applies and they don't get the job, but they hear back from you, and then maybe they hear back from you again, it really creates a nice experience for the applicant where they think, well, they really, they were interested in me. I understand that job wasn't filled, but they come in already with a nice perspective on your company that you, in fact, care about them and would love to have them as a future employee. So, nurturing and engaging with these prospects with the campaigns is going to be a game changer for a lot of you. Interview statuses and reminders. Let's jump in. Okay. 31% of all applicants expect to be interviewed within 48 hours of applying to a job, and 55% expect to be interviewed within 72 hours of applying to a job. So as we're launching our automated interview reminders, we're going to make all this a lot simpler, and we're going to make sure the applicants are staying informed and reminded. We're going to really work to reduce the ghosting effect and give you all a reason to really give your recruiters even more incentive to add those interviews into the system so that the communication with the applicant is automatic, either saving that recruiter or hiring manager time or making sure that the applicant doesn't ghost. And ghosting is a problem, right? 48% of applicants are likely to ghost if you don't meet their expectations for interview timing, and 44% of applicants who ghosted stated it was due to lack of communication, right? So we want to solve these problems. We think that automated interview reminders are going to go a long way to solving. Okay. We talked a little bit about this. Save time on the administrative tasks, reduce candidate, ghosting, make sure that, in fact, those applicants are having a great experience. And there's going to be multiple ways you can engage with them, whether it's email or text or both. You can set the timing an hour before, a day before. It's going to be a lot of flexibility for you all to configure in a way in which you want to engage with those candidates. And lastly, dashboard. So let's jump into this one. Okay, so many of you have really big organizations and you have a lot of jobs open. So if I'm at that central location, I'm trying to manage all of that. Often what happens is things fall between the cracks. I've got no visibility across the entire organization. It's hard to identify where I have bottlenecks or problems in my hiring process, which hiring managers are struggling. It's unclear what strategies to deploy when I want to fix those problems. So if I identify a problem like low applicant flow or long times to respond to applicants, what can I do about it? How can I take action? Our dashboard, we're aiming to consolidate all that, give you the insights, let you know where you have problems, and then what you can do to solve them. So let's jump into it. All right, so again, this is going to give you that centralized view. So think about insights coupled with actions. A centralized view designed to empower recruiters with real-time insights and strategic actions to improve productivity. So we've got, you're going to know about your time to hire, low applicant flow, and you're going to know what actions you can take to remedy those situations. And a lot of you, if you've got different locations, it can be hard today. You've got to be jumping in and out of jobs. This is meant to really streamline and simplify all that. So at a glance, I can see where there are problems and what I need to do to remedy those situations. Okay, so here's just a sneak preview. And again, this is a sneak preview. Things can change over time, but we wanted to give folks a view about what we're talking about when we say a centralized dashboard. So again, I've got many locations. I need to be able to filter those locations. I need to be able to filter by the job type that I'm looking at. For example, show me all my stores in, town X, and then, or at location X, or at these 5 locations. Show me all the jobs at those 5 locations where I'm hiring for a service technician. And then what I want to see is I want to see some high-level metrics. So that might be time to respond, or it might be which jobs have low applicant flow. In this screen here, what I'm looking at is I can see that across all my locations, I've got 9 jobs that have low applicant flow. And how you set up and how you qualify low applicant flow, there's going to be a lot of settings in how you do that. But without going into any single store, without looking at any single job, from this view, I can see that I've got 9 jobs that have maybe a low applicant flow problem. I can also see that I've got 12 jobs where screening isn't happening quick enough. My hiring team is not getting back maybe as fast as I'd like them. And also, I've got 15 jobs where the time to contact could be improved. So from the single dashboard, without doing anything, I've got a bird's eye view of my business and how it's operating, and I've got a sense for where I need to dig in. So let's go to the next screen. Let's dig into one of these. So here I've clicked on the 9 applicants where there were low applicant flow. Right? I've clicked in, and now I'm going to see those jobs. We've only got 2 listed here, but you can imagine there being 9. Now, what's really nice about this is that I've immediately gotten to the 9 jobs that might be across multiple locations, and it took me a matter of seconds to identify them and dive in. And now I can start working on those jobs one at a time. So I click on the first job, a panel scrolls out for me. Now, what's really nice about this is I can now work down that list while maintaining context of where I am. And what I'm going to see is an overview of why we've classified this as low applicant flow. We're going to show you some actions that you can take. So maybe, as we mentioned earlier, maybe you sponsor on Indeed. Hey, this job has low applicant flow. You've got a lever to pull to solve that problem. So if your hiring manager is struggling, they're coming to you and say, hey, we don't have enough applicants. You've got tools in your tool belt in order to be able to solve that. You can share via social media, sponsor, or send message to the team, right? So there's things that you can do now where before you would have to dive into every single job one at a time and do a self-assessment as you hire new recruiters, and they've got to be trained and figure out how to operate. We wanted to make it easy for them, right? So they come in, okay, these are the jobs that need attention. Okay, they need attention for these reasons. Okay, what do I do about it now that I know these are problems? I've got tools in my tool belt to remedy that situation and move it forward.
Awesome. That's exciting. John, I'd love to hear, what are you most excited about for the coming year?
I will say the dashboard is really exciting to me. You know, one of the things that I've heard from our customers, and we've done so many user interviews and talking to folks about where their pain points are, for us to be able to give them that kind of intelligence coupled with direct actions they can take, to me, is going to be transformative. And it's going to make it the kind of tool where you're just like, oh my gosh, this has just simplified my life in ways that I didn't expect. So I would say the dashboard is probably the thing that I most have my eye on, although campaign management is going to be really great too.
Yep, I agree with both of those. Everybody, feel free to put your questions in the Q&A or chat. I know we were having some issues with the chat. It should be working now. I've got some questions coming through. So I guess, John, when you think about our relationship with Indeed, another John is asking, how engaged are we with other job boards such as ZipRecruiter, Glassdoor, CareerBuilder, et cetera? And is it worth even recommending to boost ads with other sources through the Hireology platform, given our relationship with Indeed?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Indeed is the #1 job board provider. And so we want to make a special call out and a special attention because they're fantastic. I mean, I think I got 300 million visitors. I mean, they get the traffic. However, you want to have a multitude of job sources. And so we have integrations to all those different providers and many others. My CNA jobs, we have specific integrations in our specific verticals that may at times give you more targeted applicants. So you really want to think about the channels through which you get applicants. And one of the things, talking about things that I'm excited about, if I think about from this year and moving into next year, we've built in obviously this amazing integration with Indeed that makes it quicker, easier, and more seamless. But we're also doing other things. We're going to be enhancing our referrals. That's another, source of applicants. We're going to be doing campaigning. That's another source of applicants. You want to think of your career sites as a source of applicants. So having some diversity, it makes sense, right? There's going to be times when it's just Indeed and it's easy, but you really want to have that diversity of applicant because it's just going to give you a better hiring experience. And sometimes like a referrals are oftentimes more likely to stay longer. So there's various reasons you want to look at your different channels, and we support many job boards, and we expect that we'll support more in the future as well.
Yeah, and I'll just add, when you do diversify your sourcing, you can drill down in our insights platform to really understand, what job boards are most successful for you that's resulting in quality applicants. And then you can continue to optimize. And that's perhaps where you can, double down on sponsoring ads with whatever platform seems to be most successful. So great. Another question we have from Kristen here is, will there be a group interview feature?
I think at some point we do want to support that. Yes. Making it easy. I think in this remote world, we want to continue to improve our interviewing. And actually we've done a bunch of work, and we're going to continue to focus around interviewing. So we talked about automated interview reminders as one functionality. We're about to release a whole bunch of updates to interview statuses and things like that. So we care a lot about interviewing, and we care a lot about interviewing remotely. And group interview is something that we would love to support. I don't have it on the roadmap at this moment, but it's definitely something that we think is important.
Great. All right, so that is all the questions we've received. Feel free to type them in while I'm wrapping up here. But just wanted to thank everybody again for attending the end of the year roundup here. As a reminder, we will be sending out the slides. We'll be sending out the recording. So share that with your teams if in case they missed this presentation. But if you are a customer of ours and some of these features have excited you, maybe you're really amped about our roadmap, we'd love to get a review. And through the end of the year, G2 is actually donating $10 for every review to the organization My Block, My Hood, My City. To help in their mission of providing underprivileged youth with access to opportunities beyond their neighborhoods. So would love to be able to support that organization through a review from you all. If you're not a customer of Hireology yet, but you liked what you saw, feel free to take your phone out and scan the QR code here to schedule a demo. We'd love to go more in depth to understand your needs and see if Hireology might be a good fit for you in the future. But if you have any further questions, don't hesitate to reach out. We are so excited about our future here at Hireology, and we hope you are too. So have a great rest of your day. Thanks, everyone.
That's all.